Hello, yes, and welcome to episode 8 of CHAP CAST. We are back in Chapman Studios after being locked to the family home and the little mobile studio that I sort of created for myself. But yes, we're back. We're in Chapman Studios. We've revamped the place a little bit actually, but yeah, so it's looking good in here. Alright, so yeah, episode 8. So we are still on the great part of The Voice. So last month was an episode of basically me and the lead guitarist of this part of The Voice, Phil Kerrigan, and my friend Ben Hyde joined us, and we went up Kite Hill with some beers and that, and just had a chat about The Voice and how great it was. And yeah, so listen to episode 7. That was quite a good little episode. But now this episode, I've still got loads to talk about to do with this part of The Voice, so I am going to carry on. So yeah, this part of The Voice has been formed, and basically it's me still on lead vocals, Phil Kerrigan lead guitar, James Teale on bass guitar, and Matty Benson on the old pots and pans still. So everybody else is like well, Spug's still hanging around. Well, to tell you the truth, it was good having Spug around. He helped out a lot, and yeah. So basically, yeah. So we got this part of The Voices together. We played a few gigs. We're sounding great. So basically, I just sort of really wanted to get into a studio and record something. So I sort of like put the pressure on the other three, and basically we booked the Bonafide Studios, the same studios as where I went in and had to have Mark D save me because I enjoyed it there. It's a nice little studio, do you know what I mean, underground, and yeah, it's all right. And yeah, so I got the others to all chip in, so we all chipped in 4 ways, and yeah, and we booked a couple of days in the studio and that, and we recorded 3 tracks, which were Fever for the Music, Every Little Thing, and This Life. And yeah, I mean, this is like early phase 3. Do you know what I mean? This is before Spiros has joined the band. So it's just the 4 of us on this recording. Yeah, and like, yeah, it was good. So I will I'm going to play all 3 of the tracks actually, but I'm going to do it like bit by bit and then talk about each track. So the first track that I am going to play is Every Little Thing. Now these 3 songs, if you've been listening to the other episodes, you'll probably know a little bit about The Voice. But yeah, Every Little Thing is a song that I wrote with Amazande. Yeah, we wrote that song like back in the day, like, and it just sort of survived. And at this point, like, we didn't really have any songs together, the 4 of us. Me and Phil had No People No More in the bag, but it weren't quite kicked into shape, so we didn't end up going with recording that track. So yeah, so the first track out of 3 that we did was Every Little Thing, and this is a song written by me and Amon. James Teale actually does the backing vocal, what Amon would have done back in the day. Yeah, so it's a great little track. Let me play it for you and then we can talk a bit more. Nice one. That was Every Little Thing, a song that I wrote back when me and Amon were young, just, I don't know, 15, something like that. So that was a tune that me and Amon wrote, but we recorded it because at the time we'd only sort of formed this unit of The Voice for not long, and we didn't have our own, we had my co-written tunes and my own tunes, but not any co-written stuff from the four of us. Matty never really got involved in the songwriting, but anything that you hear Matty playing on, that is him, that's his drums, you know what I mean? Like he made all those beats, so it's not like I told him how to play, you know what I mean? But when I play the tunes now, no one plays them like Matt, you know what I mean? Like, well, Matty's drumming on them, that's how they're supposed to be in my eyes, you know what I mean? Okay, so Every Little Thing, oh yeah, on that tune you can actually hear piano, and Spiros is not in the band. Do you know what I mean? He's not even having a piano is not even a thought in our heads, you know what I mean? Like that comes later, but we did sort of feel that there was almost an emptiness, if you like, and it needed to be filled. So James said, shall I do a bit of like easy chords on the old piano, and just like put a little bit of a sort of a rhythm piano in there to so it was like not too empty, you know what I mean? And we just said, yeah, sweet, have it. And so James played the piano like as an overdub, and yeah, that's how that got in there. Yeah, it was probably a sign saying, look out for the great keyboard player that's going to join you soon. So Every Little Thing, it was a song that I sort of wrote it. I was working for a printing firm delivering their gear, like, and I was on a moped, and I remember being on Marylebone Road, like there was some place that we used to deliver there. I think they was called Abbott Mead Vickers, and I remember just I was somewhere around that area, and I remember I was just humming this tune in my head, and then these like words came in and that, and I was like thinking, yeah, this is good. So I pulled over and I thought, right, I better write these down so I remember them. So I've pulled over and I'm searching my pockets. I found a pen, and I can't find anything to write on. So I looked around me, and there was like a NatWest bank. So I run into the NatWest, and I grabbed a load of their, you know, like their mortgage leaflets and stuff like that. And went back to my bike, and I sat there in the spare bits of paper without writing on. I was writing down all these lyrics and like trying to get this melody fixed in my head, like. And then I went back to my house, and Amon came down, and basically I sang these because at the time I couldn't play guitar, so I sort of sang this sort of melody to him and that, and then Amon just sort of picked it up on the guitar, like easy peasy, like it sounded really good, like. And that's how that came about. And then the chorus to the tune we wrote together on the spot, and yeah, that was how Every Little Thing was created. But the version you've just heard is played by the latter part of The Voice, the great part of The Voice. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the next song on this sort of single EP, whatever you want to call it. And the next tune I'll play for you is a song called Fever for the Music. And this is a song that I wrote on my own. It's one of the first songs I ever wrote, actually, like on my own, like, because I could actually play the guitar a little bit by then, and actually it was definitely the first song I ever wrote using bar chords. I remember that. Yeah, I remember sitting on my bed like with my acoustic guitar, and it was really hurting my hands and that, but I just sort of forced myself. And so again, this is the four of us. I'm sure James is doing backing vocals on this, and actually James's bass line is wicked on this song. Yeah, I really, yeah, he made that up, this bass line. Yeah, so let's have a listen to Fever for the Music, and then we can get on to the last track. All right, nice one. Fever for the Music. Yeah, I actually remember now that I played rhythm guitar on that track, and I remember that I popped to Denmark Street and I bought a Boss pedal. I bought a dynamic wah, and that is, I'm playing rhythm guitar on that track. That's probably the first time that I ever got recorded playing any kind of instrument other than my voice, you know what I mean? Yeah, and James is good old backing vocals. Yeah, Fever. Yeah, that's top. Yeah, no, it was a right laugh recording this EP. Like, I don't know. It's Bonafide Studios is on Curtin Road, down in not far from Shoreditch actually, but it's I think the postcode's like EC2 or something like that. Yeah, so that was a top little tune. Yeah, it brings back memories actually. Yes, so one other thing that I actually remembered, or just listening back to it, picked up on, was that there's a bongo being played in the song, but it's not Spuggy. He's already sort of not in the band anymore. Matty played it, just like finger bongos or whatever. Yeah, so that was another part of it. I just remembered us filling little spaces. So we have got one more track from this EP to play, and this next song is a song called This Life. And again, this song was actually written by myself and a fella called Jamie Nicholas, who was the bass player in the original voice. Yeah, so let's have a. I think actually Phil is doing backing vocals in. I know James was like the main backing vocalist, but on this track, I don't know. We just said, yeah, Phil, do it, man, and yeah, Phil does the backing vocal on this next track. This is This Life. Have a listen, and I hope you enjoy.
It's like a packed terrain that's stuck in your mind. It's like a packed terrain all the time, yeah.
And that was This Life. Yeah, that track was written by me and Jamie Nicholas. We actually wrote that track in my bedroom, which is now Chapman Studios. Yeah. Okay, so what's next? Yeah, so I mean, this part of the voice was like, it was a proper good time. Do you know what I mean? Like we had a right laugh, the four of us. Like James had his Ford Sierra and I had a little Ford KA. We was mainly in James's Ford Sierra because it was just bigger, and you know what I mean, like squeezing into a little KA is when you got a Sierra on the firm, you know what I mean. Just, but I can remember we used to be like proper good little mates, the four of us. Like we used to go out and paste posters all over any spare wall that we saw. Because I worked at a printing firm called Service Point, and I used to do loads and loads of like A1 and AO photocopies of like gig, massive gig flyers and stuff, and we used to just like pull up, jump out of the motor, and like with some wallpaper paste and just whack it on the wall. Do you know, you won't get away with it now. Do you know what I mean? You proper like, so you're saying like, yeah, The Voice live at the Bull and Gate this Saturday night. If you'd done that now, you'd have like old Bill or whatever at the gig waiting for you. But yeah, we had a proper good laugh, like, yeah, flying about and listening back to the recording. I can hear that I'm actually playing acoustic rhythm guitar in the song. So yeah, and yeah, so we recorded this EP, like these 3 songs, and then for some mad reason, because we all was a bit mad, me and James decided to go back in the booth and together. The engineer must have thought we was nuts. He's like, we're in the booth, like no instruments, just me and James. He's looking at us through this little window thinking, what are they doing? He's like, right, start recording. And then he starts recording, and we record this madness that I'm gonna play for you now. And then we'll talk about what we done with it. Yeah, so it goes a little bit like this.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah. Don't even ask me what that is. Me and James was just in the booth, like, and the engineers started recording, and we just recorded that. Don't even know what it is, but I thought I'd share it with you. But what we done with it, like the third track on the EP was Fever for the music. So basically, when Fever stops, there's like a 20-minute gap of nothing, just like the song's finished, whatever, and then that comes in after 20 minutes, like just out of the blue. But it was so funny because we used to get so many people with it, like we'd been in the car with our other friends, and we'd be like, yeah, listen to our EP or whatever. And then after Fever had finished, we'd leave it playing and we'd turn it right up, and then like they'd be just sitting there in the car driving along, and then 20 minutes later that kicks in, and it used to put the shits up them. I'm telling you, it used to be so funny. And not only people in the car did we do it to. We used to like do it when we're driving down the street. We used to open all the windows, turn the stereo right up, like, and then as we're passing like pedestrians or even cyclists, like that used to just come out the windows like proper loud, and you see people like nearly falling over because it's like just so out of the blue, like bit crazy. I don't know, but yeah, I thought I'd share that with you. So I've been like searching through tracks that I can share with you, and we there's quite a few amazing tracks that we had that I can't find recordings of them, but I found a couple of tracks that I wrote with Phil and James, but they're not played with Phil and James. There's a song called Mr. Who that we wrote together, and it's being played with the John Chapman band, like when it was like when I was sort of solo and I had a band with me, it's played with them. And then there's also a version of a track called Sweetness, played acoustically with me and Spuggy actually. But yeah, so they're great songs, you know what I mean? I wish I had versions of us lot playing them, but I ain't, so you're gonna have to hear what I've got. But these two tracks are from this part of the voice, you know what I mean? Like, and yeah, Mr. Who, like, I love that song, do you know what I mean? I couldn't leave that song out. So yeah, I'll play you Mr. Who first. So this is a version of Mr. Who played by the John Chapman band live at the Comedy in Oxenden Street in the West End, just round the back of Leicester Square. And also my brother Richard joins us on stage to do a bit of backing vocals on the track, because he loves the track as well, you know what I mean? But yeah, shame that I ain't got one with me, James and Phil playing it, and Matty. But yeah, have a listen. This is Mr. Who.
Mr. Sad, two of a kind played in different hands. As good as it gets and as bad as the rest. No time to lose if you're gonna be the best. Take me high above the rest. I wanna fly to be the best. Take me high and let me go. I wanna fly all alone. Mr. Good, Mr. Evil, I know exactly how you feel. Hands up, there's no time to lose. The life we live is the life we choose. And take me high above the rest. I wanna fly to be the best. Take me high and let me go. I wanna fly all alone. Take me high, oh, take me high, take me high, take me high. One, two, Mr. Ho. Take me high above the rest. I wanna fly to be the best. Take me high, let me go. I wanna fly all alone, all alone, all alone, all alone, all alone.
And that was Mr. Who. I love that song. It's great. the guitarist that's playing on that version of it, his name was Paul Hamill. Great guitarist, don't get me wrong, but he's not Phil, if you know what I mean. Like that song was written like with me and James and Phil and May and Spiros was in the band as well when that got written. But yeah, I'd love to have a version of it, a recording with Phil, James, Spee and Matt and me, you know what I mean. But I haven't, so unless some miraculous us getting back together happens and we get to record an album, which we should have done because we had an album's worth of tracks and it would have been amazing, yeah. But you get the vibe of the track, you know what I mean. Maybe Paul Hamill's playing it a little bit of a heavy rock sort of, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Feels not like that, not 1,000 fingers on each string and all that, but yeah, you get a slight feel for it, yeah. All right, I'll play you Sweetness. This is a little bit closer to home, I suppose, because Spug was sort of like in the band. Well, we'll get to that, but yeah. So this is an acoustic version of Sweetness, another track written with me, James and Phil. Have a listen.
Sweetness, let me see your eyes. Sweetness, don't stop to cry. Sweetness, you're bringing it home. Sweetness, don't stop to roam. Ooh, I love you so. Ooh, losing control. Ooh, she's the one. Ooh, my heart is one. My heart is one. She's sweeter than all the rest. Yeah, she's the best. Well, little lady, I need to know if you and me, we run the show. Ooh, I love you so. Ooh, losing control. Ooh, she's the one. Ooh, my heart is one. 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 Chap tales, don't you wanna hear some chap tales?
And we have reached Chap Tales. In a previous episode, I told a little story of when I met Noel Gallagher in HMV on Oxford Street back in, I can't even remember if it was 95. But you have to go back and find the episode and have a listen. But yeah, so I thought I'd make it like a bit of a feature, like Chap Tales, and I'll tell you little stories of different things that have happened. So the next one that I've just thought of was actually another time meeting Noel Gallagher. So basically, this is back at the end of phase 1 Voice. I think this happened. basically, the lead guitarist of The Voice at that time, his name's Josh Wilson. He worked for the Who's record company, Bill Curbishley and that. I think they had offices in Oval Road in Camden. Not 100% sure on that, but I'm sure if you see Josh, he'll set you straight. But yeah, I mean, out of the people in The Voice, I wouldn't say that I was Josh's favourite. It was probably Amon back then. But I don't know whether he'd already asked Amon, but I suppose he knew how much of a massive Who fan I was. And so basically, he came to me and he said, I've been given 2 tickets to go and see The Who at Shepherd's Bush Empire, and also backstage party, like badges or whatever they are, the old things you stick on your shirt. Well, I suppose most people stuck them on the inside of their jacket or something, but me, Charlie Big Potatoes, I'd had them backstage party pass and some other pass, VIP pass, I don't know what it was, but I had them stuck both bang smack on the front of me. So they were stuck on the front of me, and I had a Union Jack shirt on. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, so they're stuck on the front of this Union Jack shirt, and anyway, so we go to the gig, get in there. We're upstairs, like where there's like quite a few celebrities and stuff watching the Who and that, and it was amazing. The view we had, everything was just amazing. Like we was like on one of the left wings looking down at the stage. It was absolutely amazing. I fucking love you, Josh. Yeah, it was a great experience. And it was funny because like we were sitting down, we had a little table and everything, like, and a couple of chairs and that, wicked view. And I said to Josh, I'll go and get the drinks in. Like, well, I basically should have paid for the drinks all night. Like, what an experience. It was amazing. Yeah, so I've gone to the bar, which is like on the other wing of the upstairs or whatever. So I've walked there and like I'm standing at the bar, and anyway, the barmaid's come over and said, "What do you want?" And then I've sort of said, "I'll have 2 double Jack Daniels and Coke, please." So she's brought the drinks over, stuck them in front of me, and then bowled off. And I'm thinking, so I'm like, when she's gone back past again, I sort of said, "Excuse me," and she's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Don't you want me to pay for these drinks?" And she said, "Well, you can pay for them if you want to pay for free drinks." And I was like, "Free drinks?" And she's like, "Yeah." I said, "I'll tell you what, see that little tray over there? Stick that on the bar and then fill that up with double Jack Daniels and Coke." So she's like, "All right, sweet." So I can't remember how many I had, maybe 12 on this little tray, and then I've gone back to our table with a tray and stuck it in front of Josh, and Josh just looked at me shaking his head like, "Come on, Chapman, don't go mad." And I'm like, "Josh, it's free drinks." And he's like, "Okay, Chapman, let's go mad." And it was great. All night long we're just making a little trip across to the bar and back. Anyway, I think by some part of the night we like started drinking lagers as well. So it's a bit hard to hold a tray of 12 Jack Daniels and Coke and a couple of pints. So Josh came with me to the bar on this occasion. So anyway, we had what we had, and I was walking and I had the tray in one hand, like some waiter or something, like proper skilled waiter, and in the other hand I just had one of the Jack Daniels and Coke off the tray because Josh was holding the 2 beers. So like there's like these about 3 steps to go down, and you walk along this like aisle and then up 3 steps to where our table was. So as we're going down these steps, I've bumped straight into Noel Gallagher. And it was so funny, right? Because like I've got this Lambretta Union Jack shirt on with these badges stuck on the front. Tell you the truth, Noel probably thought I was a right cunt. But yeah. So I've bumped into Noel and I've sort of like spilt a bit of coke on his sleeve or something, and I'm like, "No, I'm so sorry, mate." But he's looked at me and he's like, "Watch it, John." And as he said that, like, Josh's face is like, "What?" And Josh sort of said, "How do you know his name's John?" And then Noel looked at us and he went, "All fucking Londoners are called John." And then he just like bowled past us and that, and we was just like, "Yeah, that's it." So we went back to our table and then like we was looking for him, and we found him. He's sitting right in front of us. And he had Andy Bell with him, the bass player out of the latter part of Oasis, yeah. But it was it's just amazing, like seeing the Who, and yeah, Noel Gallagher's sitting in front of you with Andy Bell, and there's just all these other celebs and that who I didn't have a clue who any of them was, but yeah, it was a top night. And there's actually a second part to this story, but I think I'll save it for another episode. Like what happened when we went downstairs and went into the after party. We like basically cleared out everyone that was standing downstairs, and then put these like tables of food out and all that. And we went down there and. The Who never stuck around actually. Neither did Noel Gallagher and Andy Bell. So yeah. But yeah. So I'll tell you the rest of that story in another episode, because otherwise I'm gonna end up running out of CHAP tales. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what's next. Yes, and so if you go back to episode 7 and have a listen to me and Phil having a chat on Kite Hill, we sort of cover the ins and outs of this part of the voice. I'm always gonna forget things. I'm always gonna leave things out. You know what I mean? Like people who was about in the voice days. Even like last month when we done that episode, like I was speaking to someone else, I can't remember, maybe Tyeb, and they was like, "Yeah, you didn't mention this, you didn't mention that." But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna miss things, you know what I mean? I ain't got no schedule mapped out in front of me. I'm just sort of going off the cusp, going off the old head. Yeah, so let me just give it a little bit of a rundown. Where are we? Okay, so we got the 4 of us in the band, me, Phil, James and Matty. Yeah, we've recorded an EP. We're doing all right with the gigs we're getting and that. Like we've got pretty good following, a good amount of songs in the making, yeah, and I think the one thing that we thought was missing was another either guitarist or piano player, because like I was playing rhythm guitar in if we'd done a gig we'd do sort of 10 tracks and I'd probably be able to play in half of them, so then that meant the other 5 tracks was sort of a little bit empty in a way, you know what I mean, because you had Phil playing like a little bit of rhythm but then also doing a lot of solos and stuff, and then you just had James's bass and Matty's drums, you know what I mean, when I weren't playing guitar. So there was definitely a spot there for someone to jump on, and I think Spuggy, he was just a top geezer, you know what I mean, like, and he just wanted to be in the band and that, but I don't think we was ready to go back to having a percussionist, you know what I mean, like, so and well, to the unknown, Spug was actually becoming a bit of a guitarist himself, and well, we'll talk about that in like next month's episode, I think. But yeah, so this space was open in the band, and I can't remember exactly how we came across Spiros. I know that he was I think James and Phil had a friend called John Isabel, and I think John Isabel was friends with Spiros, and I think that's how we met him, like how we got put in touch and that. But then like Spee came down to one of our rehearsals, and he brought his like big keyboard with him, and yeah, I can remember at the end of the rehearsal, like when we used to just all walk out to where we parked our cars on a Castlehaven road, yeah, and Spee had gone or whatever with John, because John came down with him to the rehearsal, and I sort of looked at the other three and I was like, yeah, that's gonna work, it's definitely gonna work, yeah. And so he joined the band, and then we sort of like started rehearsing. Like his dad came down to our rehearsal and basically said that he wanted to sort of maybe manage us and stuff, and we was like, that's amazing, like, and that meant that we could get out of Scar Studios. Playing a song, there's a train going through every like bit of the song, but yeah, his dad had a studio down at Dollis Hill, and a bit more of a drive, but who cares, you know what I mean? It was wicked. And like that's when we met. Well, I mean, I can't say for James and Phil because they probably knew him already, you know what I mean, but definitely for me and Matty and Spug, we only just met him, like, and we went down to his rehearsal studio and that, and he introduced me to his little brother Dino, known as Dappy, out of the band N-Dubs. Yeah, so we met him and Richard, who's known as Phaser, and their cousin Talisa, and yeah, they was always down this studio, like putting stuff together, like I can remember like Dappy and Phaser, they was like right good at all the old music software and all that. I don't know what DAW they was using or whatever, but I can just remember that they had a room upstairs, like a big control room. It was like a big control room, but it's like their little sort of recording studio sort of thing or whatever. And I can remember going up there and sitting with them and that, and like they're showing us some of their tracks that they'd put together and that on their thing. We was listening to them. Like, don't get me wrong, it ain't really my kind of thing, you know what I mean? But yeah, but it was just wicked to sort of be in that thing, in that zone, you know what I mean, where there was all this creativity going on, you know what I mean? Like there was us downstairs in our rehearsal room banging out tunes like Mr. Who, and then them lot had a room next to us, but they sort of was upstairs with the old man and the uncle, like doing their stuff and that, and obviously when they needed like a great, like, because I think Dappy could actually play the piano as well, but not as good as his brother Spee, man. Spiros was just unbelievable at his instrument, you know what I mean? And I can remember he was like recording things on their demos for them, you know what I mean, like putting different keys on and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, but no, it was a great time, man. I just, yeah, I wish it could come back. Yeah, so I mean, like once Spee was in the band and like everything was looking up, you know what I mean? We had Spiros, amazing on the keys, Matty Benson, amazing drummer, you know what I mean? I think that I'm a pretty good rock vocalist. I'm not very good on the guitar, but we do try. James, great backing vocalist, and he was a very good bass player as well. Like, Do you know what I mean? Sort of just got. I think he was a bit more of a guitarist than like when we was looking for a new bass player, like when Jamie Nicholas was not playing ball very well. Like we offered it to him and he just picked up the bass, and then Phil, amazing guitarist, you know what I mean? Like, so once you had the 5 of us together, it was unbelievable. Like, seriously unbelievable. Like, we was playing gigs everywhere, you know what I mean? We sort of had these old man behind us. There was a guy called Matt Lakey who was at Kentish Town, who was a bit older than us, but he sort of for a while became our road manager. I remember he used to do our flyers for us and all that, like, and they was pretty good flyers, and he used to sort of come to the gigs with us and that, and where we'd only sort of just come out. Well, I'd been out of school since I was 16, but the others, I think James and Phil, well, no, I don't know about James, but Phil definitely went sixth form. Matty might have even tried to go sixth form, and I'm not even sure about James or Spiros. Like, I was definitely going to work by then, we was a great band, and like, next month I'm gonna finish up on this phase of the voice. I've found a live show that we played at the Standard Music Venue in Walthamstow, and we supported a band called what was their name? Sands of London, who now are a band called The Rifles, if you've ever heard of them, and they've got my pal Dean Mumford plays keys, and I've known the lead guitarist for a long time as well, because he's like out at Kentish Town and that, and then I've met the others just through them too, you know what I mean? We sort of had a right laugh in this stage of the voice. I can remember it, like, just flying down to Dollis Hill in the motors, and going in there and like being in this room, and then we always used to bring friends down and that, and there was like a PA system and a drum kit, couple of guitar amps, bass amp, a piano, and it was good stuff, good stuff. So next month I will play you. I'll play you these tracks that we played at the Standard on this evening, and then let you have a listen. Okay, so I will. We're just coming up for an hour now, but I'm gonna call it a day with this episode, and we will see you next month for the Phase 3 Voice Live at the Standard and everything that went on around that, and I'll also tell some sort of tale. It might be the second part to the tale that you heard today. Cheers, nice one, thanks for listening, and anything you want to hear about, more about or less about or whatever, just send me a message through YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and I will reply. Nice one, sweet. I will see you next month.